One of the strangest passages in the Talmud concerns the destruction of the first temple and the exile of the Jewish people to Babylon. And the Talmud asks, Al ma azva ha'aretz? Why was the land lost? Why were the Jewish people sent into exile? And it says that this question was asked to a number of people. It was asked to the sages, and they could give no answer. It was asked to the prophets, and they could give no answer. It was asked to the angels, and they could give no answer. Until the question was put to the Holy One, blessed be He Himself, why is it that the Jews deserve to have their temple destroyed and to go into the exile? And the answer that's given in the Talmud is really unusual, most strange. It says it was because they did not make the blessing on learning the Torah before they learned the Torah. What does that mean? Why is that such a terrible sin? It doesn't seem to make any sense. And what does it mean by the blessing that is said before one learns Torah? And a number of commentators have given their opinion on this matter. Let's try to look into it and understand it. There are two blessings that we say every single day in the morning at the beginning of the shul service as we are about to begin our day for the learning of Torah. The one is a blessing over the mitzvah of studying Torah. Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. You, God, have sanctified us with your commandments, and you have commanded us to engage in the study of Torah. Then we say a blessing of thanks. Asher b'charbanu mikol ha'amim. You selected us from all of the nations. V'natan lanu et Torato, and you gave us your Torah. Baruch atah Hashem notein Torah. Blessed are you, Hashem, who gives us your Torah. And these blessings must be said every single day. What was it? What was the problem? Why is it that the Jewish people did not say this blessing? And the Maharal tells us as follows. It wasn't that they didn't say this blessing. They said it. They said the words. But the meaning was lost to them. And he says that in particular it's referring to that second blessing, where we thank God for the gift of the Torah. And we acknowledge that God is the one who gives the Torah. It's not just some type of an intellectual pursuit like science or geography or mathematics. It's a spiritual pursuit. It's something that was given to us as a gift from God. And the Jewish people did not acknowledge the fact that God was the giver of the Torah. They enjoyed to study it, for sure, but they had cut off God from the Torah. And as soon as you cut the roots away from the tree, a wind can just come and knock that tree over. So that was really the beginning of the sin, that they disconnected God from the Torah, and as soon as that happened, they became worse and worse and worse until such a time as the temple was destroyed. But there is another explanation, and this is the explanation of the Taz. And the Taz, who is one of the commentators on the Code of Jewish Law, says that when the Talmud says they didn't make the blessing on the Torah first, it's referring to that first blessing, where we acknowledge that this is a mitzvah we're about to engage in. And what is the wording of the blessing? It's actually rather strange. We say, God, you have commanded us, la'asok b'divrei Torah, to engage in the study of Torah. Why does it use that verb, la'asok, to engage? It could have just said, lilmod. God, you commanded us to learn Torah. That's, after all, the verb that's always used in the Torah, to learn Torah, not to engage in Torah. In fact, the Maharal gives a very interesting answer. He says that the reason why it uses this phrase is to teach us that even if you don't get it right, you have still fulfilled the mitzvah of learning Torah. If the blessing had been that, God, you commanded us to learn Torah, I would have thought you've only fulfilled the commandment if you've actually reached the correct conclusion. But what if you've sat and you studied for hours and you didn't get it right? Perhaps I would say you didn't fulfill any mitzvah whatsoever. So the Maharal says a beautiful idea that no, the mitzvah is just to engage in the study of Torah. And even if you don't get it right, you have still fulfilled the mitzvah. That's his take on the matter. But the Taz tells us something different. What does it mean, la'asok b'divrei Torah? The word la'asok comes from the word asek, which means a business. You must turn the Torah into a business. How does a person run his business? A person who's passionate about his business. He puts a great deal of time into it. He puts a great deal of effort. He doesn't just come into the office at 9 o'clock and leave at 5. He'll stay after hours. He'll invest all of his money into it. Sometimes he'll even put his family on the back burner for his business because he realizes how important it is. And that, says the Taz, is why this blessing is la'asok b'divrei Torah. You must engage in the words of Torah. Don't treat the Torah as something peripheral. It's important. It's an asek. It's a business. Just like you would put all of your passion and energy and time into your business, put it into the study of Torah. And that was the problem with the Jews in the era of the first temple, is that they learned Torah, but they weren't passionate about it. They didn't turn it into a business. It wasn't something that was so important to them. And this connects with the opening words of our parasha. Im bechukotai teilechu. Says the Torah, if you walk in my statutes and you do what is correct, then I will give you a number of different rewards. And there's a famous comment by Rashi. What does it mean, im bechukotai teilechu? If you walk in my statutes. Why does it use the word walk? Walk implies energy and exertion. And therefore Rashi tells us that what the Torah is saying is, shetiyu amelim batorah, that you have to toil in your study of Torah. It's not just enough to learn, you have to put your energy into it. You have to put your effort into it. And if you put energy and effort into your Judaism, into your study of Torah, then good things automatically will come. So that is the meaning of that most strange passage in the Talmud. Why is it that the Jewish world was destroyed in the times of the first temple? Because they weren't passionate about their learning. They didn't put their very selves into their learning. And that ultimately learned and led to the destruction of the first temple. I wish you all a Shabbat Shalom.